Welcome back to Take Root in Christ podcast. I am your host, Amanda. I'm so excited for you guys to be here on this episode, which is going to be an amazing topic talking about friendship, because not every friend is going to lead you closer to Christ. It is important to identify toxic versus godly, and what does it look like when you're drawing closer to the Lord? What does that journey look like? Today I am joined by a co-host. We tend to have an idea of what something might look like, but in all reality it looks totally different. So speaking on the topic of friendship, I feel like this is very important for those rooted ones to be aware of, and my heart is very much focused on you gaining something out of this, finding some type of wisdom or something that's going to help you on your walk. And that's truly what I hope you all take. You guys can take one thing out of this episode today regarding friendship. Today my co-host who is with me has experience as I, and how friendship was a journey. Today I am joined by Monica.
Hi.
Monica is a God-fearing woman. I am so honored to have her here. Thank you for joining, especially with your busy schedule.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. And she is a mother, a wife, a photographer. What am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something here.
Youth leader.
Yeah. Yes. We can't miss that. Yeah. She is a leader, okay? So, let's get into the thick of it.
Let's get into it.
So, friendships. How was it finding friends coming back into relationship with Jesus?
It was a little bit difficult because growing up, I grew up as a Christian, going to church, and of course when I was little I was just going because my parents took me, but come like junior high I started at the youth, so it was called like Studio Youth Ministries, the church that I attended, and the pastor was like really funny, so it was really easy for me to like listen, pay attention, and get intrigued. I did a lot of discipleship programs, and I got really involved with the church doing like choir and dance, and I had a lot of friends from school that I would invite because I wanted everybody to experience what I was experiencing, and I wanted everybody to just, know God.
Yeah.
So I was very involved and happy and joyful. I had a lot of friends, and even though like a lot of friends just went like maybe one time, like I still was able to invite a lot of people, and I did know people at the church that like I served with. Like we would go to the bus stations and pray for people and all of that good stuff. I had really great youth leaders that I looked up to, and I just loved it. I really just got to know, like I felt the Holy Spirit for the first time ever. I just grew my relationship with God, and I had a lot of people around to look up to and stuff like that. So my experience there was very, very involved. And when I first came back to Christ from my worldly life, it was at the end of like 2022. I had a lot of stuff going on, just little things, but there was like one deciding factor, like a breaking point that I was like, okay, I need God. Like I cannot help anyone if I don't have the help myself. Like I need God. I need the source. And so I decided like I'm going all in with God. I reconnected with my former pastor, and he invited us to Discovery Church. And then it was like
that's where we met, you guys.
Yes, that's where we met. It was a Saturday night, and so he was like, there's service tomorrow at 8 a.m. if you guys want to go. And we said yes. We showed up the next morning at 8 a.m., Louis and I, my husband and I. And
shout out to
Louis. And we went to the 8 a.m. and it was a small group Sunday, so they had like all the sign up like little booths for you to like join a group, and we got plugged in right away. Like we joined a group and all of that stuff. But I think for me, it had been so long since I had gone to church. I was used to like all of my worldly friendships, which we can get into later on, but they're completely different.
Right.
And so there was an idea in my head of these friendships that I was going to have. I really yearned to just just go all in with God. Like I was hungry for God. I was ready to like let everything go. I just wanted to just go do whatever it took to like be close to the Lord and to do God's will for my life. But I had like an idea of these friendships of like, okay, like I'm gonna find these like girlies that we're gonna go and have like coffee and Bible study, and we're gonna dress cute and all this stuff. Like, I don't know. I had just this idea of like, I need friendships. I really did yearn for like godly friendships, but in my mind it looked a certain way. And I had a hard time making friends, making like girlfriends. Like I just remember like reaching out to people and saying like, hey, I just recently started here at this church, and like, you know, I wanted to see if you wanted to get coffee. Like I noticed that you go there, or like, you know, just like even just meeting somebody, trying to keep like a conversation going. It was a lot harder for me, which was really strange because I've always been like really outgoing, really easily, like I can make friends very easily. And I think like now, and even then I knew that it was just like the enemy just like getting in between, didn't want me there, because I couldn't
getting in your head.
Getting in my head and making me like, you know, feel or think harshly about myself too. Like, why am I not making friends? Like, why is this so hard? Like, I'm usually really good at this. Like, why am I having such a hard time right now?
Right.
I would like, somebody wouldn't like reply, and I would kind of take it like not personal, but I'd just be like, like I just want friends, like, you know. And it was really hard, like, just to make friends. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know. Like, that's why I blame the enemy, because I'm like, I've always just been really good at making friends, and this time was just tough. Like it was tough to get anyone to like want to be my friend,
open up,
or open
and show up.
Yes. And I think like at church now, like that I serve, like I know how hard it is, because like we all also are adults. We have our lives, we have children, we have work or businesses, we have like a lot of stuff, you know, going on. And then there's those people that are really plugged in, that are like serving at the church, and not just like one service, but like multiple services, or in multiple like places at, that they serve. So I know how easy it is to like just be in your routine, and like, you know, the things you need to take care of, so you're there. And so I know that probably played like a part too. There was people that were already like plugged in. And so it was just me coming in like, hey, can we get coffee? And sometimes it's not as easy as like, you know, so, but I did have a hard time making friends. There was times where I would like connect with somebody, and I'd be like, okay, I think this is like, I think, you know, we're going to get along very well, and we might, you know, hang out again soon. And then it just wouldn't go anywhere. And then I would be like kind of like disappointed or like sad again. But it wasn't so much like, I want to make it a point that like I was there for God, and I was hungry for God, and you know, I had my husband, and I was involved, so I knew people and all of that. But in my mind, I just had like a different picture of how things were gonna go. And then I eventually got plugged in with the production. My husband joined the production team, and I did it with him, because we both do like media, like production video and photos for a living. And so we started doing that. And it's funny because God gave me the friends that I needed, and I ended up becoming really close to like the guys. I was like the only girl at the time doing production, so it was pretty cool. But all of the guys there, all the guys there were like just the brothers that I needed, like the friends that I needed, the people that just showed up for me. And like, I don't know, it was just like, I'm picturing like these like girly girls, and God is like, no, these are the friends you need, you know? And so it was like John and Josiah and like Joe and like all the big production guys. And we eventually started doing like Bible studies, and they've always just shown up. They're amazing friends. They're like, you know, they're family. So I think that's where I started like making more friendships, and started to kind of like let go of the idea of my friends have to look a certain way. But it was a little bit tough at first, because I think it was more of a me thing. Like, I wanted these type of friends. But God gave me, like, what I needed, you know?
Yeah, that's good. And to piggyback off of that, I believe that there are people in the church today where they have that vision of what they want to see, you know, because everything is aesthetic these days, you know, the way it looks. And they can potentially, how do you say it? X out their blessings because they think it has to look away, or they want it to. Like, deep down, they're like, no, we need to have the same type of personality. We need to be like the same interests. There's a lot of things that we're thinking about because some people are stubborn too.
Yep.
And that's what they want. When in all actuality, like you said, Jesus knows what I needed and he provided. Yes. Not that you would have ever thought that. How long did it take you to realize to like let go and submit whatever it is that you thought and just be like, Lord, whatever you want?
Yeah, I think, like I said, it was probably looking.
Yeah.
And I think it was about like 3 or 4 months into serving and just really getting to know the people. Because like you said, it doesn't, like, sometimes we just have an idea in our minds and it doesn't go that way. It's like God does know what you need, because when I think about it, at that time I was coming from the world, and when I was living a worldly life, a lot of the things that I cared about most were like vanity. Like it was a lot of vanity. It was a lot of like, how do I look? And like just a lot of me. And so I think that if I had gotten what I wanted, which was like like all the girly coffee dates and all the aesthetic stuff, like obviously, like, God is not a trend. Like, being a Christian is not a trend. And I think I could have easily made it about like how cutesy this can look versus like really what God was really trying to show me. Like, and you know, he gave me the friends that I needed, because those are the people that showed up for me, and it didn't matter what they looked like. It didn't matter that they were men. It didn't matter, you know, and it wasn't just men. There's other women too and stuff, but like older ladies, or like, it just depends, you know, like different people. It doesn't always, it doesn't matter about the age or the gender, or
we
what
want that
they
wisdom
dress, how they dress or what they look like. That doesn't matter. Like, God is going to use people to show you what he wants to show you, you know. Like, there's things that God needs to reveal to you. And so at that time, I think that God gave me the people that truly just showed me like what friendship is. And I just realized, like, it doesn't have to look a certain way. And I think he was helping me, because my prayer a lot at that time was like, God, just change me, mold me, transform me, do whatever you have to do in me. I want to do your will, and I want to follow you, and I want to be Christ-like. And if I would have went that way, it might not have led me to where I am today.
Right. So a takeaway, when you're trying to find your friendships, pair it with prayer, as you were pairing it with prayer. Very important, because we do come as ourselves, and when you have backslid and you've been in the world, you don't really know how to show up or how to be. And how you were talking about vanity, the world will tell us something different. Friendship looks like this, right? And or maybe you just never had a good foundation, and you didn't come maybe with a good family, so your idea about friendship is skewed. And so it's Jesus having to gut out the things that you have learned from friends and try to transform that and change that. And when you're coming back, either new or coming back in your journey with Christ, you're going to bring that stuff with you. And it's going to take people to kind of help you. And then everything's a journey. You know, you're not going to do everything right at first, and give yourself grace for that, because it's not easy. It's not easy letting go of the old and coming into the new, but it's definitely possible. I also want to say that when we are in church, I think sometimes it could be miscued to think that, oh, you're coming to church, so we're all heavenly angels and we're great. But we come to church with a group of people who are on different journeys and who may in fact be about the vanity, be about only going on Sunday, not be very much devoted, or have not a good understanding of what it really means to have a relationship with Jesus, because it's sacrificial.
Yeah.
And when we come to the church, you're in a big group with people who are all sinners, and we're all there because we all need Jesus, and we all need the Holy Spirit to convict us and to help us and to put us on that right path. And so just know that when you're finding friendships, like I mentioned before, you're gonna have to discern and be in prayer about what is a godly friendship and what isn't. Today we will talk about the differences or some characteristics that we can identify to help you guys on this journey that you're on. And for you, like you said, when you're on this journey, I guess the difference, if we're comparing when you were in the world, you started, like you said, you were a Christian, then you backslid and you were gone for some time, then you were coming back. But the enemy's going to put it in your face. He's going to try to show you like, oh, it was very easy for you to make friends and now you can't.
Yeah.
So don't be discouraged. I'll say this to anyone, don't be discouraged if what something used to look like doesn't look like it now.
Oh, yeah.
Because the journey is not always smooth sailing or easy. It does come with a lot of, what would be the word? I always say gutting out, but there's a lot of work to be done. What would you say about that? Yeah, so people also think that on this journey that it's like smooth sailing, like everything, because you have Jesus now, life is peachy, and you're going to get the friends and everything's going to go great and it's going to be smooth. But the reality is that that's not how it goes. And not to say that that can't be the case for some people. It could be, because on the opposite end, I've had friends who have told me like, oh yeah, like the Lord provided friendships right when I needed them. Now their circumstances and whatever they were going through, potentially God felt like in that time, in that season, they needed someone there.
Yeah.
They needed someone to be a good, godly friend.
Yeah.
And so, but the experience on the opposite end is what you've experienced, where it's like, well, no, I did struggle with that. It wasn't easy. It wasn't a walk in the park. I actually didn't find my friends until months later.
Yeah, it was tough. Like I think, like I said, is because at first I was really focusing on like what I thought I was like my friendships were gonna look like.
Yeah.
But
so the external.
Yeah, the external. I really was. And even though I think it was just something that I had to learn too. Like it was just God showing me like, hey, you're asking me to reveal things in you, and like this is one of those things, and then this is what you're getting.
Yeah.
And then he just helped me to realize like, oh, like I'm actually getting, sometimes you pray a prayer and then like you get your answer and then you're like, why is this happening? And then you're like, oh wait, like because I asked for this.
You don't know what you're praying sometimes,
yeah,
and then
don't.
It's revealed later.
It is.
This is what you were asking.
But that's not to say that like God doesn't give you like the desires of your heart still, because as you align, like as you start getting closer to God and as you start just building a relationship with God and just walking the walk, your desires start to look like what God wants for you. So, God eventually gave me like my girly friends, like here
in
you
due time.
are, and yes, and then in due time, yes, like, and sometimes it's like when you least expect it. Like one of my best friends, I met her because I was just like randomly venting to her one day. I was gonna have a procedure done and I was like nervous about it, and I kind of was just like sitting with my thoughts, and I just felt like I needed to tell someone. And she was someone that was around. We did youth together, like we were youth leaders together, and I remember at that time I just wanted to vent to someone, and she was there. So I talked to her. I briefly mentioned like what was going on and what was on my mind. And she was like, "Oh, I'll pray for you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Thank you." And then I went home, and I thought, that was the end of our conversation. I figured I would see her again and maybe say like hi, bye, or whatever. But the day of my surgery came, and she messaged me, and she was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for you. Like, God is with you, this and that." And I was like, "Oh, how sweet." Like, she remembered, And then a couple days later, she like came over and brought me like crumble cookies and like balloons and like a little cute like card and all of that. And so like for me, I was like, whoa, like she remembered, like she showed up, like she's here.
Went out of her way.
Oh my gosh. Like, she did more than like I probably got from friendships that were like longer or like, whatever. And I know that like even before, like I had encountered, other people that I'd be like, oh, this could be like I said, a potential like friendship. And then it didn't go anywhere. And so like God just gave me like the friendship that like, when I needed it, or God like knows when you needed it, or eventually gives you like the desires of your heart too. But it's like at his timing. And I think it was when I was ready, when I wasn't looking at that anymore, when I wasn't caring for that anymore. And he was showing me something different, that like friendships are also not just about like saying like, oh, you're my friend, I care for you, I'm here for you, but actually showing up and doing it for you, like being there for you.
Yeah That's good. There was something that you were saying also. So when you're talking about God knows what you need when you need it, and timing is of the essence.
Yes.
His timing. We may think like, dang, this would be the perfect time. But in all actuality, he's actually working something inside of you. And what came to my mind when you were talking was that he was making you like him in that moment, because you were looking at the external, which is what we look at, but God looks at the internal.
Yes.
And so that's what he was working in you, is that, okay, you see it this way, but I'm going to work in you until the time is right. And we're going to look at the internal, because that's Christ-like.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about that when you were saying it, and I was like, oh, I see what Jesus was doing.
Yeah, he was working.
Yeah. And
And
sometimes we'll think like, God doesn't hear us, he's not with me, it's lonely. But no, he's working. You may not be able to see it, you may not and sometimes it's an inner thing, so we can't see it until there's a circumstance or a situation, like how you said with the friend who was very mindful and thoughtful and did all the things for you that I think is really sweet. And a good godly friend to you. And it was the timing, everything fell into the place when it needed to. And that's really, really nice.
I know. I think it's so funny, because every time when I tell you this, like I'm like, I almost feel like, oh my gosh, like the vanity of it, like the fact that I cared like so much. But it's just funny because like that's what I needed, like worked out of me, like that's what God knew I needed at the time. And so now I have friendships that, like I said, like they're like family, like everybody that is in our circle, like there's no one there that I wouldn't, that I love them. I pray for them all the time, and I know that they do the same for me. So it's just like such a different feeling. It's like you can count on people without feeling like you're a burden. And like just the friendship wise comparison from like being Christian and having Christian friendships than not being, like it almost feels like sometimes you could say something and they don't understand. Like in the worldly people, they give you the advice that they want, that they think is
culture.
Like it's just like
what's been
self
learned.
It's all like it's a lot of selfish. And when you come here, a lot of it is selfless. It's like, well, they tell you like friendship is not just like what you want to hear. Sometimes they have to correct you and lovingly tell you like
it can't be on your side.
I'm sorry, but like that's wrong. Like I'm sorry, and like hold you accountable and stuff like that. And I think that's also like so beautiful, because I think in the world, if you tell somebody something they don't want to hear, they're like, she's a hater, or she's cancel like culture? Like cancel culture, or like very much. That's not what I wanted to hear. Like, why don't you tell me this? Like, And it's not like, that's not always being a good friend. Actually, that's actually being a not very good friend. Like you gotta say what's right, you know, not just what they want to hear.
Yeah. And we learn about what's right and wrong based on this this guidance book, Bible. And that's why it's so important to have godly friendships, because you do want someone who's been longer in their walk than you, so that you can lean on them for that assistance, for that help when something isn't going well, or there's a problem in your life, or maybe there's a dilemma, and you can seek them for that guidance and help, and they can guide you because they've probably read the Bible a lot more than you, and they know a little bit more. They've gone to groups more. And I think that that's why it's so important for us to have those friendships, and to also remember that friendship is very important. God does not want us to live a life that is isolated or alone or lack of community, because we need it, because we're a body. Everyone has a purpose and a place, and we all function well when we're all operating together as one. And so friendships, I would say, don't ever think that, if you ever thought that they were like insignificant or not important, rearrange your mind to know that God wants you to have friendship. Now, timing and when and how that happens does look different for everyone, and it's not the same across the board. So I wanted to make sure that that's known. Like, everyone has a different journey, and it's not always that you get like friends right away. Yeah. So the next topic or the next question, I should say, that I wanted to ask was, did any of your friendships draw you closer to God or pull you away?
Thankfully, ever since coming back to Christ, the friendships that I have made have been like fruitful, have been like inspiring, have drawn me closer to God, hold me accountable, show up for me, and all the good stuff. It's everything I've ever prayed for. Like, I remember praying for friendships like that, and God has delivered that to me. So since then, I haven't had any friendships that like have pulled me away, but I think I've had like also like just like learning experiences of like some friends, even if they are not pulling you away, they might be questioning you. Like, they might make you question yourself or your character, or like just, I don't know, like, I think that not every person like you come across is gonna be your friend, and not everyone you know has to be like a close friend. Like, I think there's different levels of friendship. Like, you have like your circle, you know, like people that are like family, like your really close friends, like how Jesus had like the 12 disciples, but then he had like his 3 that were always with him. And so there's gonna be like levels. There's gonna be your really close people. There's gonna be like, you know, other people that you're constantly like in community with, and then there's gonna be other people that like they don't have to know everything about you. Like, you can be like good friends at a distance, but they don't have to show up to like all your birthday events,
right?
And stuff like that, you know. I think there are levels, and that was something that was like a little bit like harsh for me to like understand, because I've always like, I sometimes get like FOMO and I want, like, you know, your flesh, you want to be liked by everybody, and you want to be like, you know, involved in everything and a part of everything, and you want people to like you, you know, like as humans, that's what we want. But I think there's times where like you can set like healthy boundaries, and just know that, okay, like these things are not necessarily, or these people are not necessarily drawing me away from God, but they're also not drawing me closer to God, or really just helping me grow in any way. And so those are the times where, you know, okay, I don't have to be around these people all the time. You know, you can be nice and kind and cordial and just still keep like a distance. You know? So I think that's one thing that I've learned.
What about having those hard conversations? Because I think that's another fear with people. And what's the guidance that I know me and you have learned already from being at the church. I think that's like a rule of thumb that they have.
Matthew 18.
Yeah. Let's talk about that and how that's the guidance that we do get in the Bible about how to have those hard conversations with friends. Because when we have friends and they're true God friendships, yeah, you're going to have hard conversations because we're people and people be people in.
Yeah.
So you're going to get offended. You're going to feel some type of way. Maybe something they didn't sit well with you. And so now you're stuck with something that is affecting you. And so you don't want to just keep it in. You don't want to just hold it and talk to someone else and gossip to someone else. You want to actually talk about it. So what would you say about having those tough conversations?
Well, I think, first of all, I think that's like one of the beautiful things about having like godly friendships is that in my experience, when I have noticed something that I think is not okay, and I do my Matthew 18, like, hey, I noticed this and I really don't think like you should be doing that, or whatever the case is, that it's like very well taken. Like a lot of the time, like people like are not just like, I think people who are spiritually mature are just like mature, period. Like they're just very understanding, and they see it as like, wow, like this comes from a place of love and not like judgment and not like you know, like being mean. And then I think obviously it's so important that you do that one-on-one, because if you go to the side and tell somebody else like so and so is doing this and I think it's wrong, like that's not helping the person in any way. You're just you know, gossiping. So I think that's one of the beautiful things about having like these godly friendships, is that they understand, they see where you're coming from, and they in my experience, you know, when I've had a conversation, it's the answer is more like, wow, like I didn't see it that way, but now I do. I'm sorry, or yeah, I'm gonna work on that. You're right. And just holding each other accountable, like it shows like that you care for that person. Like you really do care for that person, because you don't want them to fall, or you don't want them to, you know, do something that they will regret later, or whatever the case may be. But I think it's just important to be truthful, but deliver it in a gentle way, in a way where it's just like, it's because I care about you and not because I'm judging you, or because,
Yeah, making that disclaimer known sometimes is necessary. Pouring your heart out.
Yeah.
Sometimes. People don't do that sometimes because they don't want to, I don't know. They want to keep their heart guarded. But definitely letting a friend know, like, I'm doing this because I do care. I'm talking to you because I do want to make sure that we get this off and the air is clear. There's no question about, you know, where I'm coming from.
Yeah. And I do want to say that, like, everybody's on a different stage of their walk with God. So just because I've had that experience doesn't mean that everyone will. Some people might take offense to it. And some people might, like, not want to talk to you anymore, or, you know, whatever the case is. And then at that point, I think you just give it to God and just pray for them. But I do think, like, it is your place to, if that's a friend of yours that is like a close friend, I think it's really important to hold people accountable. So if you see something, I definitely think you should say something,
right?
In a gentle,
loving,
graceful,
that's
loving
always
way.
going to be the disclaimer.
Always.
Loving, in a loving way, and pray before you have a hard conversation.
Yes. Yes, but I also think that if you see something that is not okay and you don't say anything, like, that's not okay either, because the Bible does say, like, if you know what is wrong, or what is right, and don't do it, then that is sin to you.
Yes.
And so we are supposed to hold each other accountable.
Very much.
Yeah.
And so that would be one takeaway for a godly friendship, is having accountability, speaking in truth, speaking with love, and being selfless, right? I believe your friend was selfless in the way that she showed up for you. She was praying for you. I think it's amazing when friends pray. Now, I don't think before I put prayer on like this like level, right? If we have levels to things, I didn't really put prayer up there, but now knowing and learning as much as I've learned, it's like, no, prayer is everything.
Yeah.
Prayer is how we are warring in the spirit, and we don't just live yes, we live physically here, but there's things that are happening around us that are spiritual, and we can't, some people can see it, but we can't, like, naturally we just can't see it. So knowing that we're communicating to God and making sure that he's putting up our defenses for us, having our little army around us, is so important.
Yeah, it reminds me of a saying. I can't remember where I got it from, but I saw it somewhere that said, prayer is not the least you can do, it's the most you can do.
Yes.
And then I want to tie that to a book that I read it's called
tattoo it. No.
No, it's called Love Does.
Oh, okay.
And it's by Bob Goff. It's a really good book, but it just talks about how I think I had mentioned to you before that I saw somewhere that that they said that Jesus never told anyone like that he loved them. He never said like I love you. He showed them.
They knew.
Yeah, he showed them. So like a lot of times, like, you know, being a friend and showing up for your friends and for your loved ones, it's not about just saying like, oh, I love you, I'm here for you, like you can call me, because it's easy to say that, and it's also easy to say like, oh, I'll pray for you, and how many times did you actually pray for that person, you know? But it's about doing and like actually showing up for the person, and like actions speak louder than words. Like how much, like what better than someone actually like doing for you, you know, like, and not just saying like, hey, I'll pick you up, but like showing up, or hey, I'll you know, I'll pray for you, and instead of like waiting to like go home and like possibly pray for them, like do it then and there. Like pray for them right there, you know?
I'm so serious about that. I literally won't say, oh, I'm gonna pray for you, and then like not, because I will feel so bad. And so I'm very much one of those people, if like, no, you said that, I'll either jot it down in my journal, or I'll make sure, no, we're going to pray right now, because I don't want to forget and let this moment pass. Or
sometimes, like, even in a message, like, someone's like, hey, can you pray for me about this? And I'm like, okay, let me type out my prayer right now. Send. So, yeah, it's not just about words. It's about doing. Like, that's the way that you show.
You show up.
You show up, yeah. You show your love.
And the cool thing about that is that I know we're talking about friendship, but when we're on this journey, like, we have to show up in action. And so that kind of ties in. We can't just say that we're Christians. I mean, you can say you're Christian, but then not show up at all. And that, I think, is deceit. That we live in a culture like that, and so it's very important for us to make sure that we are doers of the word. And I believe there's multiple scriptures where Jesus tells us that if you love me, if you know me, if you say what you say, then you'll follow and obey my commandments, and you'll do it. So just as much as he says that, it all falls into the same thing with friendship. Friendship is very much something you have to show up in action. Yes, you can use your words, but ultimately someone will know. Someone will know whether or not you're there for them as an actual friend.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me too of and you will know them by their fruits.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that.
Because like you were saying, in today's culture, it's really easy to say like you're a Christian, or it's really easy, like, being a Christian right now, it almost feels like sometimes it's like a trend.
No,
it is. So, how do you identify like a true friendship? Like, it's by their fruits. If somebody's telling you like, I'm a Christian, and they're I don't know, making a video about it, or telling you this and telling you that, but then they're doing something else, they're not showing you, it's not correlating, then
the double life. There's a double life.
There is. And then again, like I said, there's people who are on different walks, and so like some people, they don't feel that conviction yet, or they don't know that what they're doing is wrong, or they don't think that what they're doing is wrong, and God will eventually reveal that to them. But it is important for you to keep an eye out on who are you going to trust what they're saying, who are you going to follow, like who are you going to really just befriend and trust to guide you, to lead you, to hold you accountable. because not everybody that says they're a Christian is a Christian.
No.
Not everybody that says that they love God actually loves God.
Right.
So, how do you identify them? By their fruits.
By their fruits.
Yeah.
So jot that down. Take notes, you guys. With the fruits and how people are showing up, that's also something very important because, like I said, at the church, you might meet someone, and let's just say, like you said, their convictions are not strong. So they're going to the club, or maybe they're smoking some weed, or maybe they're doing something. And now you're like, what should I do? Because you do have people who have dabbled into that, and so now you're a temptation. Now it's tempting to want to go back to that. And I believe that's why it's so important for us to have friendships who are walking that same path with us so that we don't fall back.
Definitely. And I think for me, the biggest advice that I could give someone that is possibly going through something like that, or is just like new to like the church, or just like you listeners who are like, wanting to know like about like friendships and how to identify the proper friendships and stuff like that. I think it's super important to have people that you look up to that are older than you, that have more wisdom or more experience, because there's a lot of times where like you have friends that like in your same age group or going through the same things, and you guys are both kind of a little bit lost.
Yeah. And you're
and like for me, it has happened where I have to call somebody that I'm like, no, I know this person has experience. They've lived through these things. Like there's no one better that I can call. Like she knows, like I need to call her. I trust in everything that she says because she's lived this, and she's like, once you have like that experience, like how to help someone. Like there's a lot of things that I feel like I've been through, and that's the reason why I became a youth leader, because I'm like, I wish that when I was young, I had somebody walking with me that knew about these things, and my youth leaders, they made a big impact in my life. And that's the reason why I went around and did full circle. And now I want to be that for these younger girls, and possibly prevent them from making mistakes that I've made. And so it's really important to have friends who are wise. I'll just say like, who are wise.
Yes.
Who are older, who have experience.
For sure.
And just, like it's super, super important because they help guide you through things that you've never been through.
Yeah, that's good. There are some people who might believe, I don't need friends. I'll just stay kind of in my own world, isolated. And I did want to talk about just piggybacking off of that thought, that idea, or that mind frame, like, oh, I don't need friends. Like, I'm actually fine.
Yeah.
And in Ecclesiastes 4, and it says, 2 people are better off than one. So already Lord is identifying that we are to be paired up.
Yeah.
For they can help each other succeed. So like you were saying, if there's wisdom, someone's been on that walk, then of course they're going to help you succeed and walk on that narrow path. And if one person falls, then the other can reach out and help them through prayer, keeping them accountable, speaking truth in love.
Yeah.
And it says, but someone who falls alone is in real trouble because there's no one there. There's no lifeline.
Yeah.
You're by yourself. And so with this friendship topic, it is important to have friendship. We weren't meant to be isolated or alone. That's just not how we were created.
No.
Period.
Yeah.
We were created as multiple different parts with different giftings, and we are the body that will come together. And so we function well when we're all united.
Community.
Let's compare some characteristics of worldly versus godly. We've touched on this as we're talking.
Okay.
But I'll touch on it if you want to say anything about it, like shoot it out.
Okay.
So one of them is self-centeredness. And that is people doing things in the relationship just based on what they want, their needs. They don't really care too much about what your needs are. It's just more so focused on themselves.
Yeah. These are like red flags, friendship red flags.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree.
And then we have conditional loyalty, which is present when convenient. So a friend is there because maybe she hangs out with you because she can't go home at a certain time and you're available at that time. So it's just convenient. That's an example. It could be multiple things, but encourages compromise. So your friend probably is questioning you about why you're doing it or what you're doing. Maybe they want you to compromise your walk. No, it's okay. It's okay to have sex.
Yeah.
You know? Or it's okay to have a drink.
Yeah.
But if you don't have self-control and that's what you're known and that's what you do, then you're going to fall back.
Right. Yeah.
So that would be a toxic friendship. You mentioned one. It was the letter G. Starts with the letter G.
What was it? I'm like, what was it?
Gossip.
Oh, gossip. I did mention that before.
Yeah. You guys, just a little note. We recorded this. And
it's our second round.
Yeah, this is our second round and it fell through. So we're here, so don't be too confused. There it is.
I know, that's why we're both like, wait, did we say this yet? Yeah, it was because we had technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's always the technical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But gossip.
But gossip, yeah. That's one that I think is like really overlooked because it's so easy to just let that one slide because a lot of times it's not really about you. Like when someone's gossiping to you, it's not about you. And like...
Yeah.
It's usually never about you.
Yeah, it's something they haven't got off their chest.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I think it's just like easy to like not know how to correct sometimes. Like,
yeah, that one is tough.
And
because you have to stand out. You have to be the one friend because people typically don't say anything. They just let you run with it. And so I've been in a situation like that where I'm like, oof, this is about to be hard.
I've had to say like, hey, let's just not gossip right now. Or it's probably not good to talk about someone who's not here.
Yeah.
But that was one that I struggled with because I also was like used to friendships where it doesn't, to the world, it doesn't seem wrong. Like it just seems like I need to vent. But I think there's a difference between like venting, like how you're feeling, like telling your friend like, this is what this made me feel, and gossiping like, oh my gosh, this person, this and that, you know? Like there's a difference. There's a fine line. Yeah. And it's easy to like just let someone gossip.
Keep going.
Yeah.
That is a tough one. And so we want to hold, if we're going to have those godly friendships, we want to hold each other accountable and make sure we don't slip into that. The Bible does talk a lot about gossip. And so you guys can find those on your own personal time. And then another one is surface level connection. Now this one has never been it for me. Surface level connection, you don't really go deep. You guys kind of just are focused on shared activities, going places, cutesy things, gossip, mutual benefit. It's just very top. You're not really.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
I don't. I've never liked that. I hate small talk.
Yeah. I can't. I just feel like it's awkward. Like, I think like, I hate it when it's like so hard to like keep the conversation going where I feel like I'm just the one talking because if not, it's like weird, you know?
Yeah.
And like,
ooh, you reminded me.
I don't see how someone can do that. Yeah. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, we have to share things with one another. And in godly friendships, we are sharing things. We are actually sharing deep things about what you struggle with and what I struggle with. And maybe there's a commonality that we can help each other with. And it's always going to go back to prayer. Always, always, always are we going to connect everything back to prayer. But driven by feelings, so your emotions. If emotions change or offenses occur, the friendship can end quickly.
Yeah, I feel like that wasn't a solid friendship in the first place.
No, it wasn't.
I think you should be able to tell someone like
some hard stuff. Yeah. And another thing, not lead with your emotions. I feel like anyone who is running off of their emotions, that's probably going to be an end to something because our emotions get us into so much trouble. Yeah. Sometimes we got to keep quiet. Let something simmer, kind of reflect and see like, okay, what's really going on? What's really the issue here that I'm having with this person?
Yeah, I think a lot of times I have to do that because I'm like the type of person that's like, if I do say something later on, I'm like, I could have said it this way or I could have said this, you know? So I really...
Analyzing or critical?
No, just like analyzing. So, or like not like not like in a bad way or anything, like not always, it has been, but like there's just times where I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have been so quick to like say something. Maybe they didn't mean it in this way or whatever, you know. And I think for me now, what I've learned, you know, ever since, you know, coming back to God and seeing like other friendships modeled and stuff like that, and from the Bible says be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry.
It's always...
And actually the Bible talks a lot about how we need to like hold our tongues, like we need to shut up, like
because
don't
there's
talk.
power.
Yeah. And so like I think that was one of the things that like I took from there, and I was like, okay, like now I have to listen and process. Even if I'm feeling like whatever I'm feeling, I have to like wait to process and then say it. And I don't do it all the time. Like there's times where I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, loose, you know? Yeah. But it's always so much better. Like the outcome is so much better. The conversation is so much better when you're not leading with emotions, when you're able to think about what they say. And also a lot of times when we talk to people, we talk to be heard and not to like understand other people too. So it's important for you to like listen to understand where they're coming from or what they're saying, and then you can respond, and that's like a true conversation versus just hearing something and just being like, well, let me show you my point of view. Like, you know,
you're not listening.
You're not listening.
On the opposite end of that, we have godly friendships, and some of those godly friendships are, one would be Christ-centered.
Amen.
Right. That's foundational, right? Our relationship is built on love and having a relationship established with Jesus. And then unconditional love. We learn unconditional love from Jesus, how he operated. And so that is something that I don't think we'll ever like fully comprehend, but we definitely try to show up.
Yeah.
A deep spiritual connection is rooted in prayer, accountability, mutual agreement, and forgiveness, and having grace.
Yeah.
That was another thing, how people are quick to cut people off.
Yeah.
Like in the world, if you didn't do X, Y, and Z, and this is just how you showed up, oh, I'm cutting you off. What would you say to someone who did that to a friend?
Well, yeah, when you're in the world, it's a lot easier because you're thinking about yourself and how that person made you feel and how like it's not fair and all of that stuff. Because like I said, like I know it from firsthand. When I was in the world, a lot of things, like everything was about me, and like how it made me feel and how is this going to affect me, or how is this going to be better for me. And of course I didn't go around thinking like me, but like eventually when I came to Christ, like God, you know, cleansed me of that, and then I started to really truly care for people and love people like in a different way, and just such a different way that it made me realize like those things that I thought of before were just selfish. And I just think like, you know, God gives us so much grace.
That's what we learn.
Yes.
Like immediately.
Yes. And so it's like the story in the Bible where, but it was the story of the guy who forgave a debt. Do you remember that story?
Yes.
And then he asked for his debt to be forgiven. And, and then he left, and then somebody was asking him for forgiveness for the debt, and he was like, no.
And he didn't want to return.
Yeah. And so like that's like us a lot of times, like we're easy to cut off people because we care about just us, and we don't give that same grace that God gives us. And a lot of times we blow things out of proportion because like you said, we work off of our feelings, and some things like they have a solution. You don't have to completely cut someone off all the time. Like you can take a little bit of a distance, but you also shouldn't. I don't think it's Christ-like, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't think it's Christ-like to just be like, that's it, I'm cutting off forever. Like,
we want Jesus to forgive us at the end of the day.
If we want Jesus to forgive us, we have to forgive as well.
Yeah. That's what we want. And so with that idea, like if you do want Jesus to forgive you, then also know that he wants us to forgive in return.
Yeah.
He says, as much as I forgive you, you should extend that over to.
And that's the thing about forgiveness is that it's it's not fair. Like,
no.
Like,
people with
when you
this
forgive,
is not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair. Like, why would I forgive them if they did this and this and that? Well, that's what forgiveness is.
Yeah.
Is they messed up a lot,
yeah.
but you still are forgiving them.
Yes, because we mess up. And so
Yeah.
we just have to think about that picture and dynamic of Jesus and how he forgives us and how we also are sinners and we're going to do things. It's like we're bound to do things. And so
while we were sinners,
yeah,
Christ died for us.
Yes. And so that's Christ-like. It's extending that unconditional forgiveness, that love and knowing like, okay, you fell, you messed up. Let me forgive you. But it's also so that we don't grow a hardened heart.
Yeah.
And God knows that. He knows the effects that will happen. He knows how we can't truly operate. Like our prayers are not heard if we have unforgiveness with another brother or sister.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's something to remember. Like, no, you extend it. And even sometimes, even if you don't want to, how we were saying there's power in the tongue. There's reason why he doesn't want us to speak so quickly, because there is power. So there is something that's happening.
Yeah.
People are going to make mistakes, and you have to almost know that and be okay with that, and know that you don't want bitterness and hardness to be in your heart. You do want to, even if you don't feel it completely, because there's power in the tongue. That's what I was going to say. Because there's power in the tongue. You want to say it.
Yeah.
You want to say, I forgive this person for doing X, Y, and Z to me. It made me feel this way, Lord. Help me with this unforgiveness. Help it not harden my heart, because we can't fully operate with the Holy Spirit when we have hardness in our heart. So that's what I was trying to connect.
That was good.
Say it. Proverbs 27, verse 17. And this is a verse.
Iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another?
Yes. Yeah, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Mm-hmm. Yes. And this is why wisdom and having someone who has walked that journey is good, because they will be able to sharpen you when you're weak. Yeah. And trust me, we're going to become weak in this journey.
I think I had wrote down something about that.
Okay.
As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Reminds me that true friendship isn't always about comfort, but also about challenge and growth in Christ.
Oh, yeah, being stretched.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you will be stretched. Do you feel like you've been stretched a lot?
Because if you think about it, like, sharpens is like literally like
it's peeling away. The onion.
It's not pleasant.
No, it never is. This walk isn't always a butterflies and great, and now we got Jesus and life is peachy. No, it actually comes with a lot of dying to self, sacrifice, serving others. And the one thing that always stands out to me is how the commandment to love others as yourself. Yeah. Like that one for me is like, wow. I don't know why that one hits me hard. I'm like, because how we love ourselves is a lot. Yeah. You know, and then to love like that, to that magnitude, to another person who is going to piss you off. Yeah. It's hard. It is. So we need Jesus.
We do need Jesus.
Because that's the only way we carry and bear the fruits of the Spirit. Yeah. And so this is why friendship, community, fellowship, being involved, how you were mentioning, you know, you found your friends when you were serving. Yeah. And so I think that's another important thing. When you come to church, if you think you're only going to come on Sunday and that is going to be it for you and you're going to blossom and find your friends, absolutely not. You have to be involved. Yes. And when you were involved, that's when you started to slowly but surely find the friends that you needed, that God knew you needed.
Definitely. I actually was going to point that out earlier when you were talking about, there's also the idea of like, well, I could just talk to God at home, you know, or whatever. Like I've heard people say that before. Mm-hmm. And I think I've been one of those people who said that before in the past. And yeah, you can talk to God at home, but if you want to see God at work, you have to get around people. And serving too, like, it does more for you than it does for the serving. Like it
Yep.
really changes your perspective on a lot of things. And it gives you friendships. It gives you get to meet people. If you're not serving or you're not plugged in somehow, like there's no way. Like you can't do it alone. You can't. No. Like you can't just go to church on a Sunday and then go home and think
and be
like,
strong.
Yeah, and be like,
Conquer.
I already did it. Like I went to church this Sunday and that's it. Like you need community, you need friendships, you need to be around other believers and different environments too. Like I think there's been times where we're like really busy or like you know we get caught up, and even in the middle of busyness, like there's always a way to make God like the foundation and like and still have him centered. But like I think for us, I know my husband Louis, he's a workaholic. Okay. Pray for him. No, just kidding. But like he works a lot, like all day, all the time. But like we make for sure our priority to have like our Bible studies every other week. And so like those are his time for community. Like he knows like for a fact, like I'm going to have community. Yeah. I get to hear from other believers. I get to see what God is doing in their lives. And it's so beautiful because there's times where we do our Bible study and then we stay like late and we're like just talking about like what God is doing in our lives. And it's like, whoa, like, you know, sometimes it's like, I've experienced something similar. And then God is just like always reassuring you through other people and through their stories and inspiring you. And just like having that community, it strengthens your faith because you get to see that God isn't just working with you, he's working everywhere else. And you start to put pieces together. And then like all of it just, when it comes together, you start to flourish and your faith just gets stronger. And then you just have like more of that hunger, and then you just can't wait to do it again. And it's really just to strengthen you too and strengthen your faith. Like you're not going to have that just you by yourself. You know?
Yeah, there's no way.
So
we don't grow.
No.
And we're not stretched by ourselves. No. We can't see ourselves. Yeah. We don't know what we're doing until someone else actually points it out. So yet again, so important for us to have those godly friendships and the importance of it and how that journey does look quite different, just depending on timing and what the Lord knows that you need. So we just want to encourage you guys to keep on pressing forward and making sure that you are being a good friend. Yeah. You know, being a good friend to other people and knowing that it's okay if you do fall and maybe you might have a toxic trait, but know that
identify it and work on it.
Yeah, work on it, get into prayer, and the Lord will help you surely with whatever it is that you're struggling with, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to help you.
But yes, the Lord does want you to have friends, and he will provide the right friends for you. But you also have to do your part. Yeah.
And you have to be willing and open to receive whatever that is. Don't knock your blessings because it doesn't look the way you want it to look. Right?
Amen.
Yeah. So I have some reflective questions that I believe would be beneficial for you guys to ponder on. And so the first one is, are my closest friends influencing my values and faith in a godly way? So when we're thinking about it, when you're on this journey and you're finding your friends and you're coming across different people, you're going to want to reflect, is this helping me? Is this strengthening me? Or is this actually pulling me away? Yeah. Second question, am I loyal and dependable even when friendship is inconvenient? And there's going to be times where you're not going to want to do things for people because it's not convenient for you. Yeah. You have something to do. You're crunched on time, but this person needs your help in this moment. Do I pray for my friends regularly? I think prayer is the foundation of every godly friendship. And so are we praying to help one another out? Yeah. How well do I listen to and empathize with my friends' struggles? What's that Bible verse where it says we're to, like, if our friend is crying, we cry with them, like we're there with them?
Oh, I don't know the Bible verse, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Let me see.
We're supposed to cry together. We can schedule crying sessions.
So like if your friend is grieving, you grieve with them. Yeah. Empathizing.
Did you find it?
Romans 12:15, rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. So this is mutual support and being there for your friend and making sure that you hear them out, that you're not always the one who's venting or saying whatever it is that you have on your heart to say, and then you're not extending that favor in return to them. So rejoice with them, be happy with them when there's a win.
Yeah.
And then if they're sad, also be there for them in that time.
Yeah, because we always want a friend. But then, are we friends? Are we that friend that they need?
Yeah.
That's
what I was going to say. Friendship takes work, you guys. People tend to think like, oh, boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife, that's the work. No, but friendship is another one where work needs to be put in.
Yeah.
And
especially when you're older too. Because there's so many responsibilities and business and work and meetings and this and that, children, all that stuff. So you have to be able to make time for your friends as well. Yeah. Like,
you have to be very intentional.
Yeah.
And me and my friend, shout out to V, we've actually put so much effort in showing up and making sure that we are investing in our friendship. Like you said, we're older, so we do have, there's a lot at stake here. We have to share our time in different ways. And so know that you're going to pour into someone and that person should also be pouring. It should be mutual.
Yeah.
And it should never be where you're the one constantly. If that is the case, that is a red flag.
Yeah.
And probably not the best friend for you at this time. And just make sure that you pray for them.
Yeah.
So that wraps it up for today, you guys. Hopefully you guys took some stuff out of this and it helps you navigate your journey with friendship and what it should look like. Any final words, Monica?
Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Of course.
Love you. You're amazing. And
thank you. So are you. And so just so that you guys know, she doesn't text back and that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about it on the last
I'm
recording.
really bad at that.
Yeah. You guys got to give people grace. But she does make disclaimers. She makes it known. Make it known if you are bad at certain things. Let your friends know, like, hey, I'm not really great at this.
I'm not.
Doesn't mean I don't care.
But you can call me, though. Like, you can call me all you want.
Yeah. Yes.
You can come to my house. You can all the good stuff.
For sure.
I'm just bad at texting.
Yeah.
Sorry. But I'll share my location so you know where I'm at. So you know that I'm safe.
Yeah. My generation, I don't share locations too
really?
much. Yeah. I feel like that's new. Like, what? Share my location? No. I trust you.
No, I think I like to share my location so people know, like, if I'm home and if they want to show up, like, they can. Oh, I usually tell that to my friends.
Straight
like,
up open door
policy. I'm at my house. You can come whenever. Like,
that's cute.
Yeah. Well, also because Louis and I do a lot of, like, traveling.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you guys know where I'm safe. Like, if I'm safe or if I didn't show up, if I went to be with the Lord.
Find me, SOS.
You know where to find my body? No, just kidding.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And you guys make sure you comment, like, share, subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next episode.
Peace. Bye.